It's been some time since we took a look back at the top recruits in college football history. For these videos, I've talked about the top recruits from certain positions in certain years, along with different schools. But today, we're going to be switching things up. Today, we're going to be taking a look back at the top 10 recruits in California history and how their careers panned out. Before we get to today's list, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to the channel. If you love college football content like this, then this is definitely the place for you. As always, we're going to be using the 24/7 composite rankings for this list. Before we get to the list, I'd like to thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. If you're like me, you probably ate all these kinds of cereals while growing up. Well, as a 25-year-old man, I can't quite eat those anymore because, I gotta be healthy. Well, what if I told you that you can go back to eating those delicious cereals and not have to worry about having 5 cups of sugar to start your morning? Well, let me introduce you guys to Magic Spoon, my go-to cereal every morning before I start my day. Magic Spoon offers a variety of delicious cereals that feature 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs, and, wait for it, only 140 calories per serving. Don't worry though, this isn't like a box of Cheerios that you're eating. This is some really good stuff from your childhood. They have flavors such as frosted, fruity, cocoa, and my personal favorite, peanut butter. They also have different flavors such as cookies and cream, maple waffle, cinnamon, and blueberry. Now, how does Magic Spoon stack up against all your favorite childhood cereals? Well, not to make the other guys look bad, but take a look at these numbers. More protein, less sugar, and not to mention, Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Click the link in the description of this video to grab a variety pack and try it today. You'll get the 4 flavors I mentioned in this video, or you can try out different ones to your choosing. And be sure to use the promo code Harris at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/Harris. And get this, Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if for whatever reason you don't like the cereal, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link below and use promo code Harris for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Harris and save $5 today on the best cereal you'll have all year. Kicking off our list today at number 10 is Mark Sanchez, who committed to USC with a rating of 99.88. He attended Mission Viejo High School in California, where he was one of the top quarterback recruits in the country. He stayed local and attended USC, where he waited his turn to become the starting quarterback. Through his first 2 seasons, Sanchez appeared in only 9 games and only started 3 of them. He was named the starting quarterback in 2008 and had a fantastic season for the Trojans. Sanchez threw for 3,200 yards and had 34 passing touchdowns. Instead of returning for his senior season, Mark Sanchez declared for the NFL draft. He was selected by the New York Jets with the 5th overall pick in the first round. As you remember, he led the Jets to the AFC Championship in his first 2 seasons. During those years, he threw for 5,700 yards with 29 passing touchdowns. In 2011, he threw for 3,500 yards and had 26 passing touchdowns, but that would be the last great season we would see from Mark Sanchez. He had a down year in 2012 in which he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. He then missed all of 2013 with a shoulder injury. He signed with the Eagles in 2014, made 8 starts, and threw for 2,500 yards. But after that season, he'd only make 3 starts for the remainder of his career. After leaving Philly, he spent time with Dallas and Washington. After retirement, Mark Sanchez spent time with ESPN providing college football coverage. But entering the 2021 NFL season, Mark Sanchez is going to be switching roles and will be a color commentator for NFL games on Fox. Up next at number 9 is Jimmy Clausen, who committed to Notre Dame and had a rating of 99.88. He attended Oaks Christian High School in Westlake Village. Instead of opting to stay local, he committed to Notre Dame, becoming their highest recruit in over a decade. Clausen wasn't named the starter to begin the 2007 season, but he was named the starter after the first week. He ended up making 6 starts and finished his freshman season throwing for 1,200 yards with 7 touchdowns. He became the full-time starter during his sophomore campaign, in which he threw for 3,200 yards and 25 passing touchdowns. During his junior season, he finished with 3,700 yards and 28 touchdowns. Instead of returning for his senior season, he declared for the NFL draft following the news of the firing of head coach Charlie Weis. He was selected by the Panthers in the 2nd round of the 2010 NFL draft. He started 10 games his rookie year and was pretty bad, throwing 3 touchdown passes with 9 interceptions. In total, he would spend 4 years in Carolina, but didn't appear in a game from 2011 through 2013. In 2014, he signed with the Bears and started one game. In 2015, he was waived by Chicago and was claimed off waivers by the Ravens, where he started a game. But that would be the end of his football career. Number 8 is a player who was actually just taken in the first round of the NFL draft, Jalen Phillips, who had a rating of 99.89. He attended Redlands East Valley High School, where he finished with 260 tackles, 31 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions. He was widely viewed as one of the top high school recruits in the entire country, and he chose to stay close to home and commit to UCLA. As a true freshman in 2017, Phillips played in 7 games and recorded 21 tackles, including 7 for loss. He also added 3.5 sacks and 2 pass deflections. As a sophomore, he played in 4 games before a concussion ended his season. After several other injuries, including being hit by a car while riding a moped, Phillips medically retired from football in December 2018 and enrolled at the Los Angeles City College to study music production. But in 2019, he transferred to the Frost School of Music at the University of Miami with the intent to play football for the Hurricanes. Due to transfer rules, he had to sit out all of 2019, but started in 2020, where he had quite the season. He finished with 45 tackles, 8 sacks, and an interception, and was a finalist for the Chuck Bednarik Award. He chose to forego his remaining collegiate eligibility and entered the 2021 NFL Draft. Jalen Phillips was selected by the Miami Dolphins with the 18th overall pick in this year's NFL Draft. Up next at number 7 is Whitney Lewis, who had a rating of 99.90. He graduated from St. Bonaventure High School in 2003. In 2002, he was named California's Mr. Football. He caught 65 passes for 1,200 yards, rushed for over 1,000 yards, and scored 42 combined touchdowns as a senior. He was given the Glenn Davis Award for the top prep football player in Southern California. Lewis ended up going to USC, where he was one of the top players in their 2003 recruiting class, which also included names like Reggie Bush and Lendell White. USC wanted to try to use him all over the field, but Lewis only wanted to play wide receiver. While at USC, he barely saw the field. He was shifted between receiver, tailback, and fullback while as a true freshman, and had only 40 total yards. He redshirted in 2004 after being ruled academically ineligible. He was then moved to receiver as a sophomore, but didn't catch a pass in 9 games. It didn't work out at USC, so he transferred to Northern Iowa. After that, there's literally nothing I was able to find on Whitney Lewis anywhere. I couldn't find his stats while in Northern Iowa or anything about what he did during his career there or anything after. Up next at number 6, we have Lorenzo Booker, who had a rating of 99.92. Booker, just like Lewis, also attended St. Bonaventure High School in Ventura. As a senior, he ran for 2,900 yards and had 50 touchdowns. He was named the Gatorade High School Heisman winner, which is given to the top high school athlete in the country. He was originally verbally committed to go to Notre Dame, but ultimately chose Florida State. He took a redshirt year his first year there. Then, when he played in his first season, he was 4th on the team with 62 carries and 3rd in rushing yards with over 330. He was also 3rd in rushing touchdowns and recorded 19 catches. During his sophomore season, he led the team in carries and was 2nd in rushing yards with 900 and touchdowns as well. He also added 24 catches in the receiving game. He led the Seminoles in rushing yards, carries, and touchdowns during his junior season in 2005. He rushed for over 550 yards and had 4 touchdowns while adding 40 catches for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was selected in the 3rd round of the 2007 NFL Draft by the Miami Dolphins. He was then traded to the Eagles in 2008. After not much of an NFL career, he signed with the Hartford Colonels of the United Football League in August of 2010. Booker boycotted the Colonels in November of that year, protesting the league's $150,000 transfer fee. The fee was payable to a UFL team if one of its players was signed by an NFL team. At the end of the 2010 season, he was signed by the Vikings, but was only really used on kickoff returns. He signed with the Bears, but was released shortly after. Before we get to our top 5, if you could give this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps share the video with more college football fans, and it only takes a second to do. Up next at number 5 is a player that I've talked about in previous videos, USC quarterback Matt Barkley, who had a rating of 99.93. He attended Mater Dei High School in Los Angeles and was the top overall prospect in the nation. Barkley stayed local, committing to USC. He went on to have one of the best careers ever by a USC quarterback. He threw for over 12,000 yards and had 116 passing touchdowns. After his junior season, many expected Barkley to declare for the NFL Draft and be the number 1 overall pick. But he shocked everyone and returned to USC. There were a lot of high expectations surrounding Barkley and the Trojans that season. He was the Heisman frontrunner, and USC was ranked number 1 to begin the year. And things didn't go well. USC pretty much sucked, and Barkley suffered a shoulder injury at the end of the season. His draft stock took a major hit as he was selected by the Eagles in the 4th round of the 2013 NFL Draft. His NFL career never really took off, as he's been a backup quarterback ever since. Ever since he was drafted, he has spent time with the Eagles, Cardinals, Bears, Bengals, and Bills. He's appeared in only 19 total games and has made only 7 starts. Currently, Matt Barkley is a backup with the Titans. Up next at number 4 is a player that we haven't really seen yet, and that's Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, who had a rating of 99.94. Bryce Young was the nation's top-ranked dual-threat quarterback by all major outlets while he was at Mater Dei High School. He was selected as the 2019 High School Quarterback of the Year by the National Quarterback Club, the Maxwell Offensive Player of the Year, while sharing the Max Preps Player of the Year award. During his senior year of high school, he threw for 4,500 yards with 58 passing touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. He also added 350 yards on the ground and 10 rushing touchdowns. He chose Alabama over staying local and going to USC. He spent last season as the backup quarterback to Mac Jones while at Alabama. He saw limited action, attempting only 22 passes. Bryce Young is going to be the starting quarterback for the Tide in 2021 and is an early season Heisman candidate. Up next at number 3, we have Corey Foreman, who had a rating of 99.97. We actually haven't seen Foreman play yet, as he signed with USC in January of 2021. The 6'5", 250-pound Foreman made the 2020 Prep Star Dream Team as a senior defensive end. As a junior in 2019, he made the Max Preps Junior All-American First Team and the Max Preps All-California First Team. When he suits up at USC this fall, he's going to be one of their top recruits in program history. Up next at number 2, we have DJ Williams, who had a rating of 99.98. After attending De La Salle High School, he committed to Miami. He earned USA Today Defensive Player of the Year honors as a senior and was regarded as the top defensive player in the country. He compiled 130 tackles and rushed for 2,000 yards with 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. On offense, he broke the school record for touchdowns in a season with 42. He attended Miami, where he would play fullback due to a logjam at the linebacker position. Although he was barely used during his freshman year, he recorded 18 rushes for 140 yards, averaging 8 yards a carry, while adding 2 rushing touchdowns and 12 catches. He then switched to linebacker in 2001 and was quite productive for the national championship winning team. He racked up 51 tackles and had a crucial forced fumble in the Rose Bowl against Nebraska. In 2002, he was one of 11 semifinalists for the Butkus Award. He racked up over 100 tackles and ranked second on the team. He also had 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and broke up 8 passes. During his final season for Miami, he finished the year as a semifinalist for the Butkus Award. He was also named 3rd-team All-American and was 1st-team All-Big East Conference. He had 82 tackles and had 6 sacks, a forced fumble, and recovered another fumble. He was selected by the Broncos in the 1st round of the 2004 NFL Draft, and he went on to have a pretty solid NFL career. He appeared in 145 games between the Broncos and the Bears. He finished his career with 900 tackles, 22.5 sacks, 14 forced fumbles, 7 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, and 38 pass deflections. Finally, coming in at number 1, we have our top recruit in California history, Ronald Powell, who had a rating of 99.99. He attended Rancho Verde High School, where he played defensive end, linebacker, and tight end. In his senior season, he had 80 tackles, 13 sacks, 28 tackles for loss, and averaged over 15 yards a catch on offense. He was named a high school All-American by USA Today and was selected to play in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, where he was voted MVP. He chose to go across the country, committing to Florida. Overall, though, while with the Gators, he just never lived up to the expectations that were surrounding him. During his 3 years with the Gators, he had 79 tackles, 18.5 tackles for loss, and 11 sacks. Now, those aren't awful numbers by any means, but considering he's one of the highest recruits we've seen over the course of the last 20 years, he certainly didn't live up to expectations. He was selected by the Saints in the 2014 NFL Draft in the 5th round. He played in 14 games during the 2014 season, but was released in 2015. In 2016, he was signed to the Bears practice squad, but he was released and was signed by the Seahawks later that year. In 2017, he was waived by the Seahawks and placed on the injured reserve. Then he was released shortly after that. Then in 2018, he signed with the Orlando Apollos of the Alliance of American Football League for the 2019 season, but he was waived in January 2019. And that would be the end of Ronald Powell's football career. Well, there you have it. Those are the 10 highest recruits in California history. Which name on here do you remember the most? Or was there a guy that you were shocked didn't pan out? Drop a comment down below and share with me your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to the channel. If you love college football content like this, then this is definitely the place for you. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.